Welcome to 5 and 5 with Miller and Mango, your go-to source for all things finance with a twist of culture infused into every episode. Join your hosts, seasoned financial professional Miller and marketing maverick Mango, as they discuss 5 of the latest market and cultural trends and help you instill common sense into the ever-changing landscape of finance, all within 5 minutes. It's time to dive into the numbers, unravel market mysteries, and discover the strategies that matter. Welcome to 5 and 5 with Miller and Mango.
Hello and welcome back to 5 and 5 with Miller and Mango. I'm your host, Mike Manganello, with my co-host, Miller Hoffman.
How we doing, Mango?
We are excellent. Episode 21. We're going to change the format just a little bit.
A little curveball to throw your way.
We're going to call it the Reddit Rabbit Hole.
Wow.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
There's some wild things going on Reddit.
Let's chase the rabbit hole.
All right. Number 1. I'm turning 40 and realizing I need to start saving for retirement. Will I be okay?
Yeah, and quick before I guess we dive in, for those who aren't familiar with Reddit, it's like an online internet forum that, you know, you can exchange ideas with the public, right? It's kind of the black hole, anything from sports to politics to news to money. I mean, if you can think of a concept, it gets thrown out there.
It's the largest user-generated forum in the world.
I mean, it's actually very, very impressive in terms of the amount of users and people who continually use it. But in terms of people returning, sounds like a user was on there and said, hey, I'm 40, and am I too late to start saving, or what does that look like? The cheesy answer is it's never too late. Right. I mean, saving is saving. And I always encourage people. I mean, no one really ever looks back and says, man, I wish I hadn't of saved. Mango, here's the downside, though. Time is such a powerful commodity when it comes to the investment world. So much is baked into how much time you have and then how long you've been able to invest for. Yep. So that old saying, time is money, is very true in the investment world. When you are later in life, just starting to get started for retirement, that hill is much steeper than it is for someone younger looking to get started. So it is not too late, but I think setting realistic expectations and letting you know you're not going to save $1 million anytime soon. Yeah. Whereas someone who's in their 20s or just now starting their career, just putting a little bit away makes a big difference over time.
Yeah. Not impossible. I believe they always say the 40s are your highest earning years potentially. So, like to your point, I know it's a broken record, but anytime you can save, the better. But you will be okay. But I would start saving now.
Right. Yeah, and remember the concept of enough is one that is really tough to define. Yeah. Enough looks different for every person I work with and for myself included. So finding your enough is going to be the kicker here.
Now, the opposite of this, question number 2, or comment number 2, balancing between enjoying life and saving money in my 20s. And I actually have a point of view in this as well, but I'd love to hear yours.
Well, I'm curious to hear yours as well. And yeah, you start.
So in my 20s, I was living in New York City. And again, years
cheap
ago.
Town.
Yeah,
cheap
very,
town.
very cheap town. And I can honestly say I lived paycheck to paycheck. I couldn't save anything. I could barely afford to live in the apartments that I was living in New York back in the day. I didn't really save anything until I moved down to North Carolina about 15 years ago. I mean, my savings account was very minimal. However, I will tell people this all the time. Being in New York in my 20s and being broke was the best part of my life. So not to say the best part of my life, but the most memorable part of my life was being in New York for those 7+ years and saving nothing.
Right.
So I wouldn't take it back. Yes, I wish I probably invested more in my 401k and I invested in nothing because I couldn't afford to do it. But I knew at some point I will be able to do it. But it was just what it was, and I love doing it.
Sure. Well, and talk out of both sides of my mouth here a little bit on point 1, how important it is to start saving early. The truth is a lot of people are still figuring out what their career trajectory is going to look like, things that they are good at, things that they aren't so good at, and maybe more importantly, what do you enjoy? Where do you find fulfillment? So your 20s are typically filled with times of right now, job hopping, finding different careers or different sub careers, let's say, inside of a larger idea. So I think about the finance world, Mango, of like how broad. From insurance to tax to investments to financial planning. I mean, you name it, and that's just a handful. I mean, you can quickly bounce around and see what you're good at and enjoy. But what's next in the essence of time?
I will say one thing on this, though. I think it is easier now to save in your 20s because of technology. Back in the day, it was pretty much taken from checking account to bank account or 401k. I do think that there's apps out there that will round up, take money out on a monthly basis that you don't see. So it might just be easier. So.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of companies have made that stand on democratizing, I think is the kind of the term they use, right? Making investing available for everyone, not just the wealthy or the uber rich. So I do think that's a good thing.
Number 3, what is the most common tax errors people make, or what are?
Tax errors. The first one that comes to mind is just simply not filing in the first place. As simplistic as that might be, the IRS looks much more favorably on people who don't yet have the money to pay their bill instead of those who just don't file at all. The penalties are a big difference between the two. So even if you do not have the funds, it's much better to file and avoid some of the penalties and interest that's baked into it. Something else I see is buying into insurance products that tout themselves as the end-all be-all in terms of tax efficiency. While it's true that some insurance policies offer some nice tax advantages, you shouldn't be looking to purchase an insurance policy just because it's tax efficient. There are a lot of other ways to save and build wealth in a tax-friendly way. I think oftentimes insurance is sold rather than bought in that vein of things. And then lastly, for those who are self-employed or run a small business, write-offs are not free. You are still paying for the piece of equipment or the car or the tool, whatever the case is. Write-offs do not come back to you dollar for dollar. So be very careful with the approach of it's a write-off. It's not free. You are still taking dollars out of your pocket, your business pocket. So be very careful around what the IRS considers a write-off, deduction, credit. Those can be all very different things depending on what the perspective is.
The write-off thing I feel like is its own separate episode because I think
it
there
is
is misunderstood of what that actually means.
Very much so.
All right, I try to go a little more general here, and for people that know Reddit, it took me down a completely different rabbit hole. So I wanted to bring it back a little more financial focus as the culture fun question. What do you think is a huge waste of money, but people keep buying it? I mean, this is as broad as you can get, but I would love to hear your answer.
And I'm curious to know what you've seen and your mindset here as well. What pops into my mind, and Morgan Housel writes on this in The Psychology of Money, which is one of my favorite financial books of all time, but lottery tickets. Lottery tickets are so geared and marketed towards the poorer side of society on a socioeconomic basis. We've all been to the kind of sketchy gas station where the complete counter is full of lottery tickets, and you really don't see that a whole lot on nicer gas stations, let's say, on maybe the cleaner side of town, for lack of a better term. So lottery tickets, I mean, the odds on them are terrible. You have the people who play the lottery every day and never win a dime or just barely get their money back. Remember, getting your money back is not a win. That's the break-even fallacy, right? You're not winning. You're just simply getting yourself back to zero. Yeah. So it's geared against you, but the potential or the what if is such a strong conviction on people. But what do you see?
Insurance, I kid. But I don't know. I go back and forth, right? I think the humorous answer is a boat, right? It's the whole joke about the best days you have a boat is when you buy it and more likely when you sell it. Right. And we've talked about this, though. I really do think it comes down to buying a new car versus a used car because it's a huge asset. It depreciates the minute you take it off a lot. I mean, I understand that people do love cars, and that's not something that is a passion of mine. But given the amount of money that is spent, the amount of money that isn't recovered, it still amazes me that people just continue to buy new versus even looking at an alternative of buying used potentially. So.
Right. Yeah, little known secret here or realization to drop on folks. When you go do business with a car dealership, you lose. Sorry. You may think your terms are favorable, your payment's lower, you get a newer car, they threw in floor mats. Folks, you're doing business with the house, and the house is not in business to lose.
Yeah.
You may think you're getting a better deal. Trust me, you are not. So be very careful, to your point, as you go in and weigh the brand new car versus maybe something used or pre-owned, or, I'm a big Facebook Marketplace guy, so that's where I buy my cars from.
All right, let's close it. Explain it to me like a fourth grader. Why do people go on Reddit for financial advice? It absolutely amazes me for the hour or so research that I did about beyond these questions, what else is out there when it comes to finances and stuff like that. What's the psychology behind it?
Yeah, I was thinking of the question. I think it's a great one, and I thought of the Dave Ramsey, like the show that he does. I mean, the radio show, and now it's more of like an internet show. But Mango, what it allows people to do is maintain their anonymity, right? Someone is able to go in and honestly ask whatever question, and they don't have to feel like they are personally at stake, or someone's going to make fun of them, or be able to track it back to them. So I think the idea of staying anonymous and admitting, hey, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
When in American culture, I think we make the poor assumption that everyone should know what to do with money and know the answers to a lot of these questions. I think the anonymity is such an important part. Paired with financial professionals, a lot of these people have been burnt by them in the past. They've gotten a terrible deal. They bought an insurance policy they didn't need, or they're paying much more interest on a mortgage than they should have. So I think a lot of it is to look in the mirror, our industry's fault. Yeah. We rank pretty low on the trust scale in the big scheme of things. So I think a lot of it is our fault too. And then lastly, a lot of posts that I've seen, the post may be a paragraph, 5, 10, 15 sentences long, and people will offer 1 or 2 sentence solutions. There are rarely any very simple solutions when making a really good financial decision or in congruency with your financial plan. But I think our brains are naturally geared to just take the easy thing and just oversimplify a lot of things, despite being a much harder answer to give. So, curious, what do you think?
My answer is simple: call us at TradeWinds before going to Reddit. Or second point, if you do have questions or need answers to some of the type of questions, write us a note. Write us a note on Spotify. Email me at michael@tradewinds.global. If there's any topics or interesting stuff that you want answers to, we're happy to answer them on the next podcast.
There you go. I like it.
On that note, thanks everybody for listening again. We are in the early stages of July very soon. Happy early July 4th. And we'll be back with you soon. Have a good one.
TradeWinds LLC is an investment advisory firm that is registered with the Securities Exchange Commission. Registration does not imply a certain level of skill or training. TradeWinds will not accept trade offers online, and any such request, orders, or instructions that you send will not be accepted and will not be processed. This presentation has been provided for informational purposes only and is not intended as legal, tax, or investment advice or a recommendation of any particular security or strategy. The investment strategy and themes discussed herein may be unsuitable for investors depending on their specific investment objectives and financial situation. Information obtained from third-party sources is believed to be reliable, though its accuracy is not guaranteed. Opinions expressed in this commentary reflect subjective judgments of the author based on conditions at the time of the publication and are subject to change without notice. Past performance is not indicative of future results.